Hello, good evening. Welcome to the new session, live session of Exports Nation Daily Live on Vijesh Exports Master Channel. Let us wait for few minutes for some more audience to join. So, friends, in these live sessions, which are daily lessons, live sessions, which are held on VG Exports Mastery channel. Imranullah ji, welcome. Good evening. Welcome to the live session today on VG Exports Mastery channel. So, as I was mentioning that in these live sessions, which are held almost on a daily basis, we take up some very interesting topics for the exporters, for their learning, and to refresh their knowledge. Even if those exporters are already exporting, they will find these sessions very useful. So, friends, in the past sessions, we had taken several case studies as well as many topics of general interest. So, today we had planned to discuss about one case study which relates to one of my client in Andhra Pradesh. I was dealing with this client, and one situation happened. I wanted to share this situation as a case study in order to explain to you the peculiar nature of the rice exports, especially the export of non basmati rice. Friends, there are two types of rice exports. One is the basmati rice exports, and second is the non basmati. So, Pradeep ji, good evening. Welcome to the live session on VJ Exports Mastery channel. I'm really thankful to the audiences. They take out time to attend to these live sessions for the benefit of themselves and for the others, and they come out with very good questions on the different topics which we take up in these live sessions. So in today's live session, I'm sharing with you one real case study which is based on my experience with one of my client in Andhra Pradesh who is into rice exports. And this particular client specialize into the exports of non-basmati rice, which is very, very challenging area. I will explain to you. So I was telling you that there are two kinds of rice exports. One category is the basmati exports and second is the non-basmati. So generally, some people specialize in the basmati rice exports and some people specialize in non-basmati. But many a times, some of the exporters do exports both varieties. So I want to tell you, as far as the basmati rice exports is concerned, India is the leader in the world for the exports. We have competition in basmati with some of the countries, the biggest being with Pakistan. So Pakistan is another country which exports basmati rice, and basmati rice is imported in generally Middle Eastern countries and many such countries like Canada and USA, where Indian population is very high. But non-basmati rice, friends, is required almost in the entire world. So some of the countries, they are big manufacturers of rice. India is one of them. There are other countries like Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, even China is into exports of rice. So non-basmati rice export is very, very competitive, friends. And the importing countries, the big importers in the world of rice includes countries like Russia, then South Africa, and in the neighborhood of India, we have countries like Bangladesh, and some of the countries in African continent also import, as well as some of the countries exports also from the African continent. So the non-basmati rice is something which is the staple food, which actually is something like any kind of grains like barley or wheat, which as you know, the Russia and Ukraine had been the very big manufacturer and exporter of wheat. But due to some climatic reasons, Russia is not a very big producer of rice. So it is a very big importer of rice, actually, Russia. South Africa also is hardly manufacturing any, producing any rice, actually. And 90% of the consumption of rice in South Africa is met by imports. So these are some very big buyers of non-basmati rice, actually. So when I say rice, so it generally means non-basmati. Basmati rice actually is a more of a, a premium item, which is imported by the people who like eating basmati rice because of its aroma. So many of the South Asian population which live in the rich countries, they generally prefer basmati rice. So the dynamics of exports of basmati rice, friends, and the non-basmati rice is little different. So, friends, let me talk to you about this my experience with the rice exports with one of my client in Andhra Pradesh. So, one day he called me and he said that he is getting an order of around 1,000 tons of non-basmati rice from Russia, and he was in a lot of confusion whether to do this business or not. So I was a little bit, surprised that 1,000 ton is a very big quantity and it's a very good break for my client. So why he is in confusion? So what is the confusion? Why he is not, immediately take a decision whether to export or not? So I had a very long online meeting with my client, and I tried to understand. So I was also not very much expert in the non-basmati varieties of rice. I was not so conversant with this business. So he explained to me about his confusion and his background and all the experiences he had in the export of non-basmati rice. So I tried to understand the whole situation. So I learned a lot from him about the basmati rice exports, whatever he said. So the first thing he said that the export of 1,000 metric ton of rice is actually a very, very large quantity. And in the past, he's not a very, very big exporter. In the past, the maximum he would have done is 250 metric ton of non-basmati rice, not more than that. And even there, he had very bad experiences, in the sense, especially in Russia. So in one of the exports to Russia of around 200 250 metric ton when he exported, so there were a lot of quality issues, and the returns were there. So the at the last moment, the customer did not refuse to buy basmati rice, sorry, non basmati rice. So I asked him that, what are the reasons. I tried to understand the how this business is done. So I really wanted to share with you about this business, so you will have an idea that the different products need different treatment of the strategies and how it works out. So he explained to me that non-basmati rice business is based on the purchases from your suppliers in the in Indian mandi, and it is not difficult to get non-basmati rice from India. So the farmers grow the rice and it goes to for the milling where husk is removed from the rice. And there is another variety of non-basmati rice which is called parboiled, which along with the husk with heat treatment it is soaked in water and again dried. So there is another that is another variety. So South Africa is a very big buyer of parboiled rice. So there are two three different varieties are there, but ultimately husk is removed from rice in the milling machines. So generally he said that there are 6 months is the shelf life of non basmati rice generally in the right conditions. So that is another thing. But very important things he told me about the exports of rice, but non basmati rice, is that the export of rice is very very competitive. So getting margins in non basmati rice is sometimes you make money, sometimes you lose money also, and many times you have to send goods at loss. And many times, when you ship the goods, when they reach the destination, for some reason or the other, the buyer refused to buy. I will tell you some very common reason why sometimes at the last moment buyers do not take the rice even after it reaches the destination. To getting it back in India is very very difficult. It is a very very costly proposition from the time factor also and the cost. Because in India, when you bring your shipment back, dealing with customs is a very, very difficult job. There are import duties which have to be paid for any item coming back. And it is very difficult to convince the Indian customs that the rice which is coming is the same rice which the person had exported. And for some reason, it was not taken by the buyer and it is coming back. So these kind of problems are there, and documentation issues are there. Getting the certificate of origin again in that country, indicating that the rice is actually manufactured in India from that country. So those kind of very complicated issues are there to bring it back. So what happens? Many times you have to sell the whole shipment in that country only at loss. So in one of the shipment, for example, in the past, almost 100 metric ton he had to sell in Russia at 15% loss. So in this business, sometimes you make money, sometimes you lose money. And Jenaji, good evening. Welcome to the Exports Nation live daily live sessions on VJ Exports Mastery. So we are talking about one case study which is based on my own experience with one of my client in Andhra Pradesh, which is into non-basmati rice exports for a very very long time. And he got one day he got a order for almost 1000 metric tons of non-basmati rice from Russia, and he was not sure whether to execute the order, because he was quite worried about the post potential losses, but at the same time he never wanted to lose this opportunity also for getting such a big order. And some of the information he was sharing with me about the non basmati rice exports, and he was explaining to me that it is a very very competitive product, and many times you sell goods on loss because it is highly competitive. And competition is there not only from the Indian suppliers but also suppliers from Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and even China. So these countries, they offer a little better quality of rice at even cheaper prices at times. Another factor which plays very very important role which leads to the last minute cancellation of the orders, is the price parity of the currency with that country. So when we, for example, when we talk about the Indian rupees price vis-a-vis Russian currency, or the Indian rupee price vis-a-vis the South African currency, that parity is, different. It's not same. So what happens, if the Indian rupee appreciates, the chances of the cancellation of the order is very very high. If the Indian rupee vis-a-vis that currency depreciates, the chances of making money as well as getting through the order is high. So these things play a very very important role, because margins are very very small. The volumes are big, margins are less. So this business is little complicated business, non basmati rice, and at times you have to be ready with losses. So if you can bear the losses at some stage, maybe in different transactions, you make money also. So it's like this. So what he told me that he was confused with this 1000 metric ton, because by his experience, what he has learned, that it is better to export rice in smaller lots instead of sending, working on 1000 metric tons. Because if the at the last moment anything happens and there are cancellation of the order, the quantity will be so big, for him to liquidate that shipment will be very very difficult. As I told you, that getting it back to India is not a very good proposition. It is very costly, it is time consuming, it is very complicated. So he explained to me that 1000 metric ton is a risky business. So he is very keen to export to different buyers, maybe 50 tons or 100 tons or 75 tons, rather than exporting to one client 1000 metric ton, which is a very very risky proposition. So that is his experience in this non basmati rice export. So that is what he was trying to explain to me. But for some reasons, that because it was a time when pandemic was post pandemic, the things were becoming normal. He really wanted a good break, so he was not sure whether to go for this 1000 metric ton order or not. So he discussed with me, different possibilities. The biggest thing what he was trying to understand was the trends between the Indian Russian currency parity and the Indian South African. Because South Africa, he was getting the smaller importers for small quantities, 50 tons, 75 tons. Bangladesh, he is regularly exporting in neighboring countries. So he was quite happy. And he said that there is no client loyalty. So it's not that one client is buying rice, he will keep on buying the rice. So nobody is loyal to anybody, because in this is a very price sensitive imports of rice in these countries. So if they get better price somewhere else, they will immediately switch over. So it is not a regular kind of exports where you get the letter of credit through banks, and it's not done like that. So rice export is a very different kind of business. So you are not sure, even when the shipment reaches the country, the import destination, whether the goods will be lifted. So it is like this. So it's a very very competitive kind of thing. Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam people, they are ready to ship the goods, and they are ready at the point of delivery, whether the shipment is taken by the buyer or not. They can they are they have learned to manage. So Indian exporters are also trying to learn, but in India, getting the shipment back is little risky. So in countries like Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, if they get their shipment back, their customs do not create any problem. In India, you have to pay import duties on the goods which are coming back if they are not convinced. So it is a very very difficult proposition for India. So because of these complicated customs relationship, the Thai Cambodia and Vietnam people are have created such terms that Indian exporters cannot work on letter of credit kind of system. So they have to give the same terms what the Thai people or the Cambodian people give. So they send the shipment, and at the delivery point, whether the buyer still is okay, he will buy. If he is not okay, he will not buy. So that terms has to be given. Whether it is South Africa, whether it is Russia, whether it is Bangladesh, whichever country it is. So it has to be worked like that. Otherwise, they will not buy from India. They will buy from somebody else. So that is the situation which has come in non-basmati rice business. So it has become a very, very risky business. So some people who are into this business, it's a big gamble for them. Sometimes they lose money, sometimes they make money. So another thing is about the price factor. So if we compare the two big importers like South Africa and Russia, he was trying to explain that Russia is giving little better price of the shipments of rice, slightly better, maybe about 5-6%, maybe higher price, but they are looking for many tests to be done. So there are 2-3 different tests and 2-3 stages of fumigation which has to be done for pest removing pests and diseases, if or to be sure that so phytosanitary certificate is required and fumigation is required at 3 stages. So container stage, rice stage, and the final packing stage. All 3 stages fumigation is required, which little adds to the cost. But they are ready to give price, Russians, but they are very finicky about the quality, the Russian importers. So that makes it even a riskier proposition to ship or to start working on 1,000 tons, because he has to put money, and money also comes little late. It's not that the money is given on the spot. So items are lifted, money is given later. So the so money has to be, he has to spend his money and get the money later. So there is a time gap. So he was not at all, not very, not at all. He was quite uncomfortable. He was quite confused about whether to go ahead with this 1,000 metric ton. So vis-a-vis South Africa, South Africans are not that stringent on the quality checks like Russians. Russians are more stringent on quality test, but they are ready to give better price, little better price. So these kind of different situations, friends, exist in the non-basmati rice exports, and he was quite confused about this 1,000 metric ton. And as far as my knowledge goes, finally he refused to actually make the shipment of 1,000 metric ton, and rather he was interested in the Russian exports, but for smaller quantities, maybe not more than 100 tons or 150 tons. So this is, like this whole experience, talking to him and understanding this situation, it gave me a lot of insights into the differences in the basmati rice export and the non basmati rice exports, and the kind of competition which exists in the non basmati rice exports. So another thing which he shared with me, that even the Russian governments at different times in the past, in last say 7-8 years, 3-4 times they had even banned the import of rice from India on some smaller issues, about a particular bacteria was found, or something was found. So for 8 months or 9 months, the Russian government banned non-basmati rice from India. So the uncertainty of the shipments to Russia is very high. So thinking of very big orders from Russia and actually working on those kind of orders for medium sized or the smaller size exporter is very difficult. Maybe some very big exporters from India, maybe very big quantities who are doing they may be able to meet the requirement of 1000 metric ton in one go from Russia, which is a very very uncertain market. Looking at the past record also, as I just mentioned to you, as late as in 2019, early in 2019, for 5 months there was a ban of import of Indian rice in Russia. So Russia is such market. So South Africa that way is not that difficult market. As I told you, the the variety of the rice which is generally bought in South Africa is parboiled. Majority of the import of the non-basmati rice is parboiled, which is a little different variety. So it is not difficult to get that variety. So what I am trying to explain to you and share with you that in the non-basmati rice domain, the exchange rate matters a lot, the supplies matters a lot, quality matters a lot, and your ability to manage the shipments if they are not taken by one importer, if you can sell it to some other importer at not major losses, those kind of knowledge and experience is very very important. But one good thing is that getting the material is not difficult. Getting non basmati rice from the market is not that difficult. It is the mandis, there are a lot of suppliers of the rice, so that is not a big hurdle. The main hurdle is about the managing the export shipments, managing the possible losses, managing and understanding the exchange rate trends in those markets, vis-a-vis the Indian rupees and their currency, understanding those trends. So having the knowledge of about that, what may happen, what may not happen, because that is a very, very major factor. Price is a major factor more than the quality. So, and maintaining the quality is also very very important. So this particular experience of mine, friends, as I told you, was based on one of my clients, my discussion with the client and understanding the way non basmati rice is exported. I had thought of sharing with you in today's live session about the nature of exports of non basmati rice from India. And as far as the basmati rice is concerned, it is little different. So competition is also little different. The pricing is also little different. Margins are different, and the method of working there is also little different. And as far as the standard quality of rice is concerned, the grain length, how much is broken, and contamination, moisture, the color, all these factors are there, which explains, which decides the price of the shipments. So, what will be the price? The people who are into this business, they understand it very easily by looking at the rice, and with some tests it is possible to check the pricing part. So pricing depends on the standards and the quality, and these, for example, sand particles or the stone particles should not be there at all. So these kind of things in export, managing such things require a lot of experience, require a lot of hard work for the exporters, and it is not a very easy business to export non-basmati rice in the international market, but it can be lucrative when you make money because the volumes are quite big. So sometimes you make good money, sometimes you lose money. So this is the nature of the non-basmati rice export. So apart from my experience with this client, I had some more experiences of non-basmati rice with some more persons, and very similar information was shared by those people also with me. So whatever I've shared with you is based on my discussion and interaction with some of the exporters who are very regularly exporting non-basmati rice. So that is Those were some of the things which I wanted to share with you, so that you can correlate these kind of situations with your situation, with what you want to export. You need to understand your own business, how it is done, and what are the regular practices of exports in your business, so you can correlate these things. So that is the idea of sharing this particular short case study which I wanted to share with you. So if you have any questions, friends, on the things which I have talked about, the non-basmati rice exports, as the first-hand information which I received from few exporters. So if you have any questions, you can ask the questions, and uh, in the future live sessions, we'll be taking up some more case studies on some other products also, new products also. We'll be talking about some of the aspects of the exports by sea or by other modes of transportation, and the issues connected with the international trade, export as well as imports. So in future we'll be taking up many similar topics, and we'll be discussing these things, including some case studies. So I hope these sessions are useful for your knowledge and your updated knowledge about the different sectors of exports. So if there are no questions today, friends, we can call it a day today, and maybe we can meet again tomorrow at 8:30. And if you have any comments or any suggestions, you can send me on my WhatsApp number also. And if you are interested to see, some videos are there on my YouTube channel on the different topics of your interest. You can explore those videos also. And as I had mentioned yesterday also, that now I have almost 22 training modules courses on Udemy platform, where many very large number of working persons are enrolled on those courses. So if you want to join, or if you like any course, you can request me for the enrollment coupons. I can share the same with you. So maybe then we call it a day today. Thank you very much to all of you for joining this session, which was focused on the non-basmati rice exports. And goodbye, and good night. So we'll meet tomorrow at 8:30. Till then, thank you. Bye bye.